Hello everybody and welcome. In this video we will be looking at, is Endless Legend still worth playing in 2023? Now Endless Legend is a game made by Amplitude Studios in 2014. It is a hex-based, turn-based game where you basically are on a planet and you have to build an empire and conquer your neighbors, defeating them by one of many different victory conditions. Now one thing I love about this game, before we get into the nitty-gritty, is the fact that, as I mentioned, it was made in 2014. Now, they have added an option in this game to make the UI larger. This helps unbelievably to scale the game to modern graphics and modern screens where people are playing on much larger resolution screens. So this, for me, is an absolutely must-have for a game that is almost 9 years old now, still being able to be played today. Now, going into the game, as I said, it's a hex-based game based on the planet Auriga, and where you choose one of many civilizations. There is around 16 to 18 civilizations on this, all with their own unique styles of play and all with their unique styles of options. It is not simply a cut and paste, which is another bonus for the game. And you pick your race, and then you have to conquer the planet and win via one of many victory conditions. Science, economy, conquering, and of course on this game there is also a quest line which comes with every single faction, a different quest line I would like to add, again giving this game lots and lots of replayability. Every game you play and every faction you choose will have different things coming up in it. Now, as I mentioned, this game is nearly 9 years old, and it has not simply sat on its laurels for 9 years. It has had many DLC come out for the game. All of these DLCs have added many more options, from increasing the number of playable races to adding the things that happen whilst you are playing. They have all added lots of little side quests or options available whilst playing that again help increase the diversity of every playthrough and so help increase the replayability. Now, like most 4X strategy games, this is a game that has most of the nuances you would expect, and I think this game does them very well. It has the standard city building mechanic. You choose your city, you generally have a building list, you choose which building to build, some of which get placed on the world map, and your city expands from there. Every city, of course, goes off the usual resources that you'd expect to find on these type of games: industry, food, science, dust, which counts as your money for this game, and then there is one called influence, which is what you use to basically negotiate with your allies varying forms of treaties. Now, in terms of the varying things available, I think this game has quite a nice UI. It is fairly instinctive, and there are buttons pretty much where you'd expect to find them to give you good overviews of your empire, good overview of your cities, your heroes, your armies, etc., so you can get detailed views of what is going on without having to constantly go from unit to unit or city to city and figure everything out individually. So that again is a very nice plus for me for this game. In terms of empire management, you do have the bonus of having things like resources that you have to pay attention to. Then obviously your science, your money, your industry, which will be your general resources, helping to make it so you can achieve your individual goals. After this, you have things, obviously you have a pretty standard science window. It's what you kind of expect to find in most strategy games. Nothing particularly special. It has its own slight unique twist. As of course you would expect, there's no need for it to be rinse repeat like every other game. Other than that, you have the negotiation screen, which I really like negotiation on this game because you can pretty much trade anything. Even if you're going for a peace treaty at the end of a war, you can even trade cities. Pretty much anything you can grab your hands on on this game is tradable, which I think is very good because in these type of games, I truly think most things should be tradable to a certain degree. You have a market screen, which then, again, a lot of things, or certain things I should say, not a lot of them, but certain things which you can't trade, for instance, you can't trade units or heroes, you can buy and sell them via the marketplace, which again gives you another avenue to be able to use. It basically, in my opinion, makes every facet of the game viable. For instance, diplomacy is very well done, so do you want to win a diplomacy victory? if you chose to do an economic victory, but so for instance, then your industry might fall behind a little bit. It's fine. You can buy out buildings, you can buy units, you can buy heroes. So whichever avenue you choose to go through, whether you want to be that industrial powerhouse or those money hoarding people, the money hoarders we'll call them, they are both very viable options on this game, which is absolutely fantastic. And then of course, in terms of the gameplay, it is simple enough but intriguing enough or intricate enough to actually make it fun to play whilst not getting you bogged down in micromanagement or the nitty-gritty details which are just going to annoy you over a long game. There is lots of flavour added. As I said, they've added lots of DLC, there are quests, there are added little facets put in. They have added it in one of the DLCs that you can now in fact take to the ocean as well, and there's a little bit of ocean mechanics involved and on sea battles. Or of course, but again, you don't have to do these things. By ignoring one of these things, as long as you choose a different viable path, it will all work out as long as you play the game to your strengths. Which is one of the things, like I said, that I've said a couple of times already. I know I'm repeating myself on a short video, that I think make this game very, very replayable, and so gives it 2 huge thumbs up from my opinion. You can basically push either one of the victory styles and it is still viable. They have not simply made one victory style viable and all the rest fall flat on their face. As for battles and fighting on this game, again, they're simple enough but intricate enough to keep you involved. When you start a fight, you'll go to a battle map, at which point you give your units simple orders, a fight lasts 6 rounds, and if you manage to destroy the enemy, you've won. If you obviously manage to do more damage to them but they survive, you've won, but you're going to have to go and fight them again. And there is, of course, as you would expect, you can auto-resolve battles without even having to go on the map if you so choose. You get the standard percentage bar of how strong you are versus how strong they are. You can give a couple of simple orders. Do you want your units to be defensive or offensive? And then you just let them do what they need to do and see who comes out on top. So, that is a rough overview of Endless Legend. Now, there are many details I haven't gone into, because if you choose to pick up the game after this, I don't want to spoil it for you, because in my opinion, if you haven't played Endless Legend, and especially if you like other games in the Endless series like Endless Space or Endless Space 2, you most definitely should jump in and play Endless Legend in 2023. It is a game, in my opinion, that has lasted the test of time, and it is still very interesting. It has had a lot of DLC put into it, a lot of love. I believe they have stopped putting any work into it now, as they are focusing on future developments, but it is a game that is 9 years old and it is still very playable, it is very well polished, and it even still looks nice by today's standard. We're not talking, you know, Skyrim standards, although Skyrim is now a few years old, that's probably a bad example. Let's go Batman Gotham Knights. You know, we're not talking those kind of graphics. We're not talking a AAA world roaming platform you'd expect to see today, but the game has very nicely stood up to the test of time. You could easily compare its graphic styles to things like Civ, which are brand new styles of gaming. Civ 6, I believe, is a couple of years old, and it is very much comparable in terms of graphics quality. So, obviously this is my opinion, and I've gone and stated it, and I truly believe that you should buy this game if you have any interest in this style of game, because I believe it is truly playable in 2023. And of course, if you are going to buy this game, I myself, and I don't have any affiliate before I do go and mention this, I myself got it from a website called G2A. This is basically a CD key style website. It is fully above board. And I got it there, and I got it there for much, much cheaper than, for instance, I would find it on something like Steam. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Steam, but if I can find a CD key for cheaper, especially when something comes with about 8 different parts of DLC, I am definitely going to go ahead and do that. So if you're looking to buy it, look on websites, CD key websites. Like I said, G2A was one I got it off, and as I mentioned, I am in no way affiliated with them. So obviously shop around as well. Find yourself a good deal. You can get it for a decent price now as well. Jump into Endless Legends and definitely have a go. If you want to see any more of any kind of playthrough, I do have a current campaign going through on YouTube. Feel free to jump in and watch those videos. If not, I hope you found this this video useful, and I hope you've now maybe got a bit more of an opinion as to whether you think this game is still worth playing. But most importantly, everybody, stay safe, stay happy, and stay healthy. We'll catch you next time, folks.